So this is tour of the inside part 2. We have still a part 3 coming of another part of the buildings, and so now we take you to a smaller house that stands at the street in front, so at the entrance of the property. And that house is currently still inhabited by one person, and we are planning to renovate it, and we hope to be able to rent it out as soon as possible to more renters, tenants. And yeah, so we take you there now, make a tour of this little house on the inside mainly. You will see, have a little view of the outside as well. But I think more interesting is to see a little bit what it is on the inside.
During this video we will also show you and explain you a little bit more about the historical aspect of this building, which is really quite interesting, which you wouldn't really guess from the outside, from the looks it has currently, but it actually has a beautiful heritage that we will also dive into. Apart from that, we will share with you some of the plans that we are making and some of the first ideas on how we're going to reconstruct it.
So here we have the entrance door, and let's have a look inside. Looking for the right key.
Creaky old door. Checklist old houses must-haves. Broken old wooden staircase, check. Bit of mold on the wall, check. Broken locks, check. Spider webs, check. Old rubbish, check. Traces of former floorings, check. Dangerous floor.
So
check.
Here, despite the fact that the floor in this particular room still looks in order, all the structural support underneath it has collapsed, which we'll show you in a moment in the cellar. And that, I think, is also one of the main issues with this house, is that the cellar ceilings or the ground floor floors are in a very bad condition. And so that's going to be also the start of our works here, is to put these floors back into a structural entity.
But despite the issues, what is really nice that we have some really original elements of the early days of that house. So there's a horrible paint, of course, on it. Well, horrible, matter of perspective, but it's not what we aspire.
Yeah. What is quite interesting about the doors is just that they are made of good materials. Shape-wise, they're not that interesting, but they're made of solid wood, and they can probably be restored in a good manner and shape.
So what looks now here like moldy walls, perhaps on the video, are actually walls where former various layers of old paint, etc. have been removed. Therefore, it looks a little bit spotty and dotty, but no problem, that can be done. Ceiling, we just had a quick look yesterday, is something that we will remove and refresh. Walls will be refreshed too, but in a different way. More about that later.
We'll now go through a bit quicker, just showing you the rooms a little bit, and yeah, maybe we give a few indications of what we imagine to be doing. So here used to be a small toilet. doing some bad renovation works, in the sense that I have put plasterboards against solid brick walls, and these brick walls, especially in winter, they can absorb some humidity, and then of course plasterboards are one of the worst things you can place, because first of all the walls don't breathe well anymore. They try to put some ventilation through, it doesn't really work, and plaster tends to mold very strongly. So that will need to be kicked out. And so here we are at another side of the house. Entering have been used for different purposes. Let's move upstairs. We've got some vibrant pink with some contrasting green. Here we've got a fabulous yellow tone.
Staircase to heaven. Not a creaky door.
One more floor that leads under the roof partly already. As you can see, we start seeing the slope of the roof on this level. Here are a few toilets. That's how it was constructed back in the days, with 2 toilets on this floor. And then there we have a few rooms, as well as a staircase that leads to the attic. Yeah, so here we have more small rooms. Interesting rooms, but currently not very usable.
Unfortunately, I have to be inhabited by something.
That looks like a raccoon.
But these droppings look a bit old, a bit dry, so
We hope he moved out in the meantime. As you can see, the interior taste is very much up to date.
who doesn't love a good imitation of brickwork?
Hot water is secured as well, as you can see.
And for some hot bottoms, also a little stove. Loads of spiders.
Now we could move to the attic. Spider webs.
I know why I'm sending you ahead. After you. Oh wow, it's hot. Ooh, there's a hot breeze coming out. Wow, it's so hot, it's crazy. No? It's extremely drafty here. Why? I mean, any spider should be burning. That's kind of...
So now we can move into the cellar. So we've reached here the top floor as well as the attic that I've just shown, and from here we can go down.
So right now we are in the cellar of the frontal house, which has partly collapsed, and we're going to show you a couple of images of how the cellar currently looks like. So right above Archibald you can see where the ceiling has collapsed. Basically there were steel beams that have completely been eaten away by moisture and time, releasing the brickwork which was held by those steel structures, and what was in between the brickwork and the wooden floor above was a layer of sand, which is quite a significant amount, which you find now here loose on the cellar floor. So, maybe a non-staged video about the front house and what it's going to be. So our plan is to renovate the front house to become guest rooms and inhabitable places to be rented out in this area. So also create affordable living situations for people on the one hand. And therefore, on the other hand, we need to really take care on how we restore the place, because it is also a heritage protection.
Yeah, it's under heritage protection because that house used to be the house for the gatekeeper. So it's a gatehouse of sorts of this mining facility. So if you would enter the mining facilities in the past, you would pass by that house and the gate, and then you would enter the other buildings.
In contrast to the other buildings Atiba just mentioned, they were erected in 1896, and that frontal house was built in 1921 approximately.
Yeah. So heritage protection, meaning we need to be careful with how we renovate, meaning we need to be respectful of historical aspects. Whatever historical aspects are still left in the house, as you could see, there's not that many. But let's say roughly that the shapes of the house, the shapes of the windows, some old materials that are left, some materialities that one can still observe, need to be maintained as much as possible.
Which is anyway very much in the line of thoughts on how we would like to approach things, so we would actually work in hand there. I don't see too much as an obstacle at that point.
Exactly. Then we also need to take care, of course, of the outside of the surroundings of that house, let's say, meaning the garden that is in front, which is quite bewildered right now with all sorts of plants, making sure that all the rain pipes end where they should, because at the moment all the rainwater just runs all along the house, which is really damaging the outside walls quite a bit.
As well as the inside, which is one of the reasons that this cellar space has been collapsing, but more about that soon. So if you would like to know more and see like how we start things in that frontal house, hit the subscribe button and follow us for more.